Hey everyone, and happy Tutorial Tuesday! Your votes are in, and we are doing Team Iron Man today, starting off with the man himself, Tony Stark, in his Iron Man suit. Now, because it's mostly red, you can just kind of fill in mostly everything red and then fill in the yellow parts after, just because there's less yellow. So that's kind of how we're starting here, just with the general shaping. I'm kind of just basing it off of a reference image like I've mentioned before. So just doing it based on what feels right, especially depending on what your reference image is. And then using some black to fill in some of those defining lines that you can later fill in with the gold. And this will make it a lot easier for you. Once again, it's okay to not use up all of the space provided. Sometimes it makes it overlap, as you can see from the right-hand reference image. The eraser, you can use one of two ways, either by, at least on a Mac, which is what I'm using, by holding down, like double-clicking on your mouse when you go to drag, or just by on the left, on that slider there, on the bottom of the circle, you can just drag it accordingly. Here we're just kind of defining the shape of the face. A lot of the colors here were just preset colors, so not a lot of work required. And then for the weapon here, we're just going to fill in what kind of looks like some of the stuff that shoots out of the hands from the suit when he's flying, and that gives it a kind of cool little effect. Now, we're not going to do all the members of Team Cap today, simply because that would take forever, so I'm going to be doing 4 characters from each side, especially some of the more highly anticipated characters. So next, naturally, we're going to be doing SpiderMan. Welcome to the MCU, my friend. You are no longer in the throngs of Sony. So similar to Iron Man, a lot of his colors are very basic and kind of two-tone. So Spider-Man, you've got your reds and your blues. Now, I found the blue that I liked on the color wheel just by finding a similar color and dragging it down to a darker one. So you can kind of see me playing around with the different shades of blue here. But especially with Spider-Man, if you're not going to be basing it off of necessarily the Civil War costume, just one in general, whatever. And then I was playing around with some lines here for the spiderwebs on his suit, but as you can see, they kind of look weird on this just because the colors are so bright. And even by lowering the opacity on the colors, it still didn't really look right. So I personally found it best to leave it out, but if you play around with it and you like it, then go ahead and add those spider webs just by creating some diagonal lines or some straight lines. Adding the spider, of course, is necessary, and the eyes. I kind of just did a rough shape on the eyes and then tried to match them afterwards as best as I could. Giving him some shoes, and then, of course, instead of a gun, Spider-Man slings webs, so why not give him a little spider web? Just kind of as if you were going to make a snowflake, like a paper snowflake, just giving it those lines and then connecting them. It may look silly at first, but it does all come together kind of nicely, even if it's not even. Now we've got Black Widow. Super excited that she's finally going to be included in a lot of the merchandise. Now, because her suit is pretty much all black, you can just kind of do a ton of black and giving her that classic V-neck and a little zipper. Now, in the promo stills for Civil War, she does seem to have some blue lines that are very bright going down her suit. So I did include those, and of course her classic red hair, just playing around with different shades of oranges and reds until I found a color I liked. Finally, we have some normal eyes today in the video, giving her hands, more of those lines. Natasha's fairly simple, giving her some boots, her belt, and just kind of making sure it doesn't overlap awkwardly, kind of how it can sometimes. But if it does a little bit, that's okay. Black Panther is next. His outfit is almost entirely black, so you can just slap some black on there like I just did. I started off by giving him his necklace that he has. I wouldn't call it a necklace, but it looks like a necklace. And then by defining the shape of his face and giving him those ears. And the eyes, I gave a little extra dot at the top of the diagonal corner to give them kind of a cat shape. And then claws instead of a weapon because he does use his claws. And then later I did decide to add a spear that he does use. Not sure if we'll see it in the movie. I haven't paid that close attention to the trailers yet to know. making sure I kind of give a little definition there to resemble his belt. And there's Black Panther for you. So those are some of our Civil War characters today. We're going to be doing Team Cap next week, so if you were in the 40% that voted for Team Cap, don't worry, he'll be next. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Jess, and let us know in the comments who you'd like to see after we do Team Cap, whether it be other...